biology and DNA, you find out that the Homo sapiens sapien, we do have this thing called junk DNA. But see, the people at the top, they understand wordplay. They understand wordplay on another level. And so the wordplay behind calling it junk, it forces us, or it programs us, I should say, to dismiss it as something that means nothing and has absolutely no value.
Right.
Junk. Oh, because junk is garbage. Junk is unneeded stuff. Junk is, don't even look over here. Don't even research it. Don't even spend your energy looking into it, because it's just junk, you know? It reminds me of some of the anomalies that I see and stuff, and the people that give us those images say, oh, it's just junk. It's just nothing. So what we have to understand is that this junk is not junk. When these people tell you that something is worthless or garbage or junk, that's when you need to look into it the hardest. That's when you got to go, you know what? They're trying to cover something up. Let me go deeper into what this junk is. And as you begin to dig deeper, you realize that as you go down to different levels of hominid that existed on this planet, that a lot of these nodes, a lot of these DNA nodes were connected in the past. And right now, this version of Homo sapiens sapien, they've been purposely disconnected. But and this is in ancient stone tablets, what I'm saying. This is coming from stone tablets and then combining that with research at Harvard University and Stanford University. Now, they found that this disconnected DNA energetically is still connected to something, because it's still firing off and sending and receiving information. So they found out that DNA stores information. It's actually stored digital bits of information like zeros and ones. This actual scientist connected DNA into a computer, to a server, and he downloaded his ebook onto DNA. I think he replicated it 80 billion times on 1 gram of DNA. That's enough to put a drop on the tip of your finger. 80 billion copies of his ebook. But the book had colored images and pages and information. It wasn't just all text. Yeah. And they found out through this process of taking the ACs, Ts, and Gs in DNA, through this very simple process, converting the ACs, Ts, and Gs into zeros and ones through a chemical process. And then once you have this laid out in zeros and ones, you can encode data onto the DNA directly. And then through a reverse process, you can convert the zeros and ones back into A's, T's, C's, and G's. And then you can upload that information back up into a server. So this is like really interesting stuff. So I started digging a little bit deeper and finding out that DNA is a storage medium. And the DNA in one human body can store 13.5 billion years of data. Ironically, that's how old the universe is. So we have the entire universe stored in our body. And so this is why they don't want you to dig deeper into this junk DNA, because once we begin to elevate our consciousness, once this DNA begins to plug back into the physical avatar body, and we be able to discern the information that's on it, it's going to wake humanity up to a whole nother level. We're talking about, forget fifth dimensional, thinking. I'm talking about seventh, eighth dimensional thinking, consciousness. And so this is why they're covering it up, because it really will bring back a lot of what used to be basic gifts, like psychic abilities, telekinesis, and all these things that people are now, like the indigo kids, are coming in with. And some people that seem to be older have developed these particular gifts. They're like the X-Men right now, but soon the X-Men will be the normal men as we begin to re-encode and replug in these DNA strands. They're not dead. They're not junk. They're still active, and they're still firing off, and they're still sending and receiving information. And because every thought that we think is encoded with digital bits of data and goes out of the skull into the universe permanently, that's the Akashic record field, that energetic field that stores all information from energetic light, conscious light waves. This DNA is sending and receiving. They found out in the science laboratory that DNA can send and receive wireless information as well, and convert it into data and upload it back to a data state. So our bodies literally are holding on to this information, storing it, and all the keys to unlocking the human, the consciousness, and the universe are stored inside the human avatar body. They do not want us to realize that truth.
Amazing. Dr.